The pain of outgrowing people you love. Have you ever looked at someone you once couldn't imagine living without and realized that you're no longer the same person who needed them? Not because they betrayed you, not because they changed, but because somewhere along the way, you did. And perhaps one of the most painful truths about growth is that sometimes the people you love most cannot come with you. There is a kind of heartbreak that no one prepares you for. It isn't the heartbreak of rejection. It isn't the heartbreak of loss through death or conflict. It is the heartbreak of realizing that a connection that once felt like home no longer fits the person you are becoming. Many people experience this and assume something is wrong with them. They feel guilty for creating distance. They question whether they are selfish, cold, or disloyal. But what if this experience is not a failure of love? What if it is simply the hidden cost of becoming who you truly are? One of the first signs that you are outgrowing someone is that conversations begin to feel strangely empty. The topics that once excited you no longer hold your attention. The dynamics that once felt natural now feel exhausting. What makes this difficult is that nothing dramatic has happened. The person may still be kind. They may still care about you. Yet something inside you recognizes that you are no longer relating to life from the same psychological place. Carl Jung believed that growth requires an ongoing confrontation with the deeper self. As people evolve, their values, priorities, and awareness begin to shift. The tragedy is that not everyone evolves in the same direction or at the same pace. Two people can love each other deeply and still find themselves standing on different psychological landscapes. This realization creates a quiet grief because you begin mourning a relationship that technically still exists. Signs 2. Growth often creates loneliness before it creates freedom. Most people imagine personal development as an empowering journey, but few talk about the isolation that comes with it. When you begin setting boundaries, questioning old beliefs, and refusing unhealthy patterns, some relationships naturally become strained. The version of you that tolerated disrespect, avoided conflict, or constantly sought approval was easier for certain people to understand. But the new version of you operates differently. Suddenly, familiar relationships feel unfamiliar. The people who once celebrated your presence may become uncomfortable with your changes because your transformation forces them to confront their own stagnation. This is why growth can feel so lonely. You are no longer who you were, but you have not yet fully become who you are meant to be. You find yourself standing between two identities, belonging completely to neither. Signs 3. Perhaps the deepest pain comes from realizing that love alone is not always enough. Society teaches us that if two people care about each other, they should be able to make the relationship work forever. Yet psychology reveals something more complicated. Relationships survive not only on affection, but also on alignment. When two individuals begin pursuing fundamentally different paths, emotional closeness becomes harder to maintain. Imagine two trees planted side by side. In the beginning, they grow together. Their roots intertwine. Their branches reach toward the same sky. But over time, one tree grows toward sunlight in one direction while the other grows toward a different source. Neither tree is wrong. Neither tree is betraying the other. They are simply following their nature. Many relationships fade in exactly this way, not because love disappeared, but because growth demanded a different direction. Signs 4. Outgrowing people often triggers intense guilt because human beings are wired for belonging. Deep within us exists an ancient fear of separation. For most of human history, being disconnected from the group meant danger. Even today, our nervous systems react strongly to social distance. This is why many people remain trapped in relationships that no longer support their growth. They would rather betray themselves than risk disappointing others. Jung referred to this as becoming trapped in a false identity, a version of ourselves built around external expectations rather than inner truth. The longer you suppress your authentic self to preserve outdated relationships, the heavier the emotional burden becomes. Eventually, you face a choice. Continue shrinking yourself to maintain comfort or accept the discomfort that comes with becoming authentic. Neither option is painless, but only one leads to genuine freedom. Signs 5. One of the most misunderstood aspects of growth is that it changes what you can tolerate. Experiences that once seemed normal begin to feel unbearable. Gossip becomes draining. Constant negativity becomes exhausting. Emotional immaturity becomes difficult to ignore. At first, you may wonder if you're becoming judgmental, but often what you're experiencing is increased awareness. When your standards for your own life rise, your tolerance for unhealthy dynamics naturally decreases. This doesn't mean you become superior to others. It means your internal world has changed. The things that once nourished you no longer do. And this creates a painful tension because part of you still remembers the comfort of old connections while another part recognizes that returning to them would require abandoning your growth. Signs 6. Many people assume that maturity means learning how to hold on to everyone. In reality, maturity often involves learning how to let go with compassion. There is wisdom in recognizing when a relationship has fulfilled its purpose. Some people enter your life to teach resilience. Others teach confidence. Some reveal your wounds. Others reveal your strengths. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, yet our culture often measures success by permanence. We believe that if a relationship ends or fades, it must have failed. But seasons are not failures because they end. They complete their purpose. Certain people accompany you through one chapter of your life and then quietly step aside as the next chapter begins. The pain comes from wishing they could remain forever in a role they were only meant to play temporarily. Signs 7. The process of individuation, one of Jung's most important ideas, requires separation from collective expectations. Individuation is the journey of becoming who you truly are beneath social masks and conditioned identities. Yet this process inevitably creates friction. People become attached to the version of you they have always known. They expect you to remain predictable, familiar, comfortable. But growth makes you unpredictable. You begin speaking differently, thinking differently, choosing differently. Some people celebrate this evolution, others resist it. The resistance often has little to do with you personally. Your transformation disrupts the psychological agreement they unconsciously made with the old version of you. And when that agreement disappears, the relationship changes as well.